What's going on, guys? I'm Steve. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another video. If it's your first time stopping by the channel, hit that subscribe button. Trust me, you won't regret it. If you're a returning subscriber, as always, guys, welcome back, and I do appreciate support. Guys, we've seen a lot of crazy mistakes that have been done from the negligence or gross negligence from funerals homes in taking care of the dead that people are paying and trusting them to do. We did stories where a young man, I think it was Virginia or somewhere, that at his viewing maggots and stuff came out of his face, all kind of crazy stuff. We've seen other stories where people went and seen family members all decayed and stuff at places where they were supposed to be prepared for funerals and from negligence. Seen all kind of stuff, but this story right here is one of the stories that'll probably stick with me forever. This story supposedly takes place in Philadelphia, where this press conference is at. I think this is in Philadelphia, where you see these two older people up here. These two older people are the mother and father of this man right here, Timothy Garlington. In November 2023, this Marine veteran died from unknown causes, just suddenly. And his body was supposed to be shipped back to Philadelphia, where he was going to be buried up there closer to his people. But for some odd reason, in them doing this, they wound up sending his personal belongings as well as his brain in a box in which the family didn't know it was in there. And you can guess what happened. I don't know how this kind of stuff happens, but they're saying right now there are two funeral homes or funeral servicing homes that are being sued out there in Georgia, and everybody's passing the blame. To this day, supposedly, these people have not received an apology. Take a look at this story. This is like over the top, man, and it's sickening.
A mother and father are in shock after they say they received their dead son's brain in a box. Tonight, they are suing two funeral homes they say were negligent. One of those is in Cobb County. Atlanta News First reporter Chelsea Beimfor is at Southern Cremations and Funerals in Marietta. And Chelsea, the location is named in this complaint.
Well, it's unclear exactly how Timothy Garlington died back in 2023. His family says when they received his body that was initially handled by this funeral home in Marietta, it was not intact.
It was, and it is still in my heart that I got in my car and I smelled death.
Lawrence Butler describes the traumatic moments that he and his wife allegedly discovered their dead son's brain in a box in the back of their car.
It's something out of a horror movie.
Attorney L. Chris Stewart, who's representing Butler, says his son, Timothy Garlington, died unexpectedly in November of 2023. He lived in Georgia at the time, but says his parents lived in the Northeast.
He grew up in Philadelphia, so they wanted him buried up there. So they hired Southern Cremations and Funerals in Marietta to take care of the body and have it shipped to Philadelphia.
Stewart says when the body arrived in Philadelphia, it came with boxes of Garlington's personal belongings. His parents came to pick them up and left the boxes in the back of their car for a few days. That's when they started smelling something foul. Stewart says it turned out to be Garlington's brain.
When they grabbed the box, it was covered in a fluid that got all over them. Wasn't marked, no biohazard label, no do not open, nothing.
I had to get rid of that car. I just couldn't stand the idea that the remains was in that car.
Since then, Stewart claims the Butlers have not received any apology or real explanation from Southern Cremations and Funerals or the facility involved in Philadelphia. That's why they're filing a lawsuit to hold both locations accountable for, quote, gross misconduct and intentional infliction of emotional distress.
We just pray that this doesn't ever happen to anyone else again.
We did reach out to Southern Cremations and Funerals several times today about being named in this lawsuit and have not heard back. Reporting in Marietta, Chelsea Beimfor, Atlanta News First.
Now to this, our top story here at 5 o'clock. A Marietta funeral home is among two facing a lawsuit centered around a gruesome an emotional discovery.
A family says that they were sent a box unmarked with their deceased son's brain inside. They had no idea until a strong odor compelled them to open it. Our Chase Howell's looking into the disturbing story.
An unmarked box a Philadelphia family thought was their deceased son's belongings happened to be his brain.
To find out that it was his remains was just overwhelming.
According to the family, Timothy Garlington, a Marine Corps veteran and Philly native who lived in Georgia, died in November 2023. Already shocked by their son's sudden passing, imagine their surprise and devastation when opening this box only to find a part of their son's body decomposing in the back seat of their car.
So the parents had their son's brain in their car, in their home, fluid on their hands when they were moving it, trying to pry open a box, thinking it's a personal item. And the funeral home had his brain in that box.
L. Chris Stewart is representing the family in the lawsuit against Southern Cremations and Funerals in Marietta and Nick's Funeral Home out of Philly. The family says they're suing because they believe the funeral homes negligently mishandled their son's remains and caused emotional distress.
We just trusted them to do what we thought should be done correctly, and this was not done correctly.
So how does this even happen?
They're just blaming each other. One funeral home is saying, well, why would you send it to us in a box? Well, why wouldn't you inspect the box before giving it to them? You have a list of his personal items, watch, clothing, this. The box wasn't on the list. Why would you give that to the parents? And for the funeral home here in Marietta, what were you doing? Why would you put that box, put the brain in a red box, then put it in a white unmarked box and send it with the personal items? What was going on?
All those questions that deserve answers. So I went looking to see if Southern Cremations and Funerals could clear any of them up.
Do you have a direct contact for anybody at the Decatur location?
Now, I did call their corporate office as instructed and was told no comment. Reporting, Chase Howell, 11 Alive News.
All right, guys, I got to send my deepest condolences to these family, man. Just seeing that older man up there, man, he's a veteran of the Air Force. His son is a veteran of the Marine Corps. See him going through that is horrific. That's something none of us can deal with. I mean, can say we went through. Death in itself of a child, your child, is hard enough. But to have the reality like of that brought to you, that's something that shows gross negligence. I feel bad for those folks. You know what I'm saying? And I hope everything goes well for them. You got 2 funeral homes. How do you mess that up? Another thing is, after that was discovered, if it was my company, I personally, as the owner, would have been on the phone immediately. Hey, we apologize for this, even if it wasn't my fault. But if I was one of them named in that, I would have found out about it. Hey, listen, what can I do to help? What can I do? Because that right there, for them to sit back and not say nothing and play the blame game on each other, it don't matter who did it. Should have never happened. That's horrific. Said the box was in the car for 2 days because they thought it was personal belongings. Said he goes out there, the whole car smelled so bad he had to get rid of it. It's horrific, and that's a smell you never get out of your nose. Let alone knowing that that's your son, a part of your son. Makes no sense. Some people might say, hey, they need to shut them down. They need to pay a heavy price for that. You know what I mean? These are older people. Guy put his life on the line to defend the country, and this type of shit happen. Seriously. It's fucked up, man. I ain't feeling it. You know, I mean, that's something like out of a horror movie or something. Like, you can't even make that up. That's the last thing when you go pick up your son's belongings, is you're already upset that this stuff belonged to him. And now you have it, and the only thing that reminds you of him are things that he has, and his brain shouldn't be one of them. Either way, man, it's I feel bad, man. I'm sorry. That's all I can say. Stock Market Steve for the Dynamic Reason channel. As always, like, comment, share, and subscribe. I hope this works well out for this family, man, because, I mean, nobody should go through that. See you in the next video. Take care.